Is reposting on social media a sin? Am I telling lies? What does God think? You're watching Timeless Talks, Timeless Subjects, Information for Life.
Many years ago, Jesus was asked, "What is the greatest commandment?" To which he replied, "Love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength." And the second is much like it, he said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." These are the two greatest commandments, according to Mark chapter 12 and verse 30. The Greek word that Jesus uses there for love is in the verb form is agape. That agape love, many know, is this divine, heavenly kind of love. It's a free choice to love somebody. So we as Christians love God because of his divine holiness. We love him because of his righteousness. But we love him because he's God. And out of that grows our love for our neighbors. And we love them, and we want the best for them, and we want to try to see the best in them. But we are living in times that are making this incredibly challenging. With the growth of social media and the usage of these smartphones. Do you know that there was a poll done in 2021? It says that the average Americans stay online 5 to 6 hours a day. Well, it said 46% of Americans stay online 5 to 6 hours a day. That's a lot of hours. Maybe you only do 2 or 3, but it still ends up being a lot of time. At just 2 or 3 hours a day, it ends up being over a month a year. It means that you spend more time hugging your phone than you do hugging your spouse. It means you spend more time talking to others than you talk to your mate. Can you see where this is a problem, a serious problem? As more and more Christians spend these long hours online, they seem to be getting caught up into these political wars. And it would do Christians good to remember the 9th commandment that we read about in Exodus chapter 20, verse 16, where it says, "We are not to bear false witness against our neighbors." You might say, "Well, preacher, what's that got to do with my online time?" Well, I'll tell you. As you spend all this time online, sending out all these tweets, liking all these political cartoons and ads and you name it, you be careful that you're not being a false witness. Can you be sure that the article you just liked is the truth and nothing but the truth? Or is it some fabricated story painted in the image of the newsroom that wants it to bring them in money? If you're an adult, you know that these outlet news stations are to make money, and they know that negative news makes more money, so they give out more negative news. Were you there that day in the room when that statement was made? You got the official documents in front of you? You really believe that Fox News or CNN or CBS is telling you everything they know? Or are they trying to lead you in a certain direction? I'll just warn you again about Exodus 20. Don't you bear false witness against your neighbor. What's God going to do about that? Is he going to wink an eye? Is he just going to say, "Oh, that's just a little white lie"? You say, "Well, preacher, my conscience is clear. I mean, I did everything I know to do. I was committed." Well, you be careful. The Apostle Paul was murdering Christians, and he had a clean conscience. He thought he was doing it to serve his God. And it wasn't until he was struck down blind and came to know Jesus that he realized what he did was wrong, and he had to repent. But if he had not repented, he'd have died in his sins and he'd have rotted in hell. Your conscience can tell you you're as right as you want to be. You break the commandment, you have sinned. And if you don't repent of it, you'll pay the penalty of sin. You'll be separated from God forever. You might say, "But Lord, when did I slander? When did I commit this false witness?" Well, when you reposted that article without researching it thoroughly for the facts. When you retweeted and sent out that nasty tweet about some politician you disagree with. When you sent out that email chain, that contained all your buddies with those political ads about somebody with a disability. The rest of the story in Deuteronomy 19 says that what the false witness was going to have done unto that person they were testifying against ought to be done unto them. So you send out these stories that your tongue loosely let fly and your fingers let tight. In this case, maybe they ought to come after you. As you're out there trying to destroy somebody else's life, what if they try to destroy your life? What do you think God will do with those that are spreading misinformation? Is he going to wink at our failure? Is he going to give us a pass because we're so compassionate about it? I doubt it. But Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? Love. You mean it hasn't changed in 2023? Come on, Jesus, surely you know how bad these times are, how different they are. These are drastic times that call for drastic actions. Yes, my child, you are correct. You should love more, you should care more, and you should sacrifice more. The church needs you now more than it ever did before. It needs you to stand up and love. By this they will know you are my disciples, by how you love one another. And when we tweet, and when we post, and when we laugh, in order to cause hurt and pain to somebody else, we have broke the commandment. And the commandment has not changed in 2023. Join me today in asking God for forgiveness. And the next time we decide to tweet or post or resend, I hope we'll stop and ask ourselves, am I bearing false witness? I'll leave you with this thought. In Genesis 39 and in verse 9, Potiphar's wife wanted to sleep with Joseph. And he said, I can't do this. Your husband has given me everything except for you. How can I do this against him, and how can I sin against my God? When you sit down at your keyboard, you play with your phone, you get ready to send that tweet, ask yourself, how can I sin against my God? And this is Jesse Walker